Every year in June and December, there's a special event on the third floor of the Allen County Courthouse. It looks like a party, but it's much, much more. In the same room where some of Allen County's most notorious cases are heard, a celebration of life is held. Men and women who had stood before a judge just weeks before stand before their families and friends to celebrate the relaunch of their lives. It's Drug Court Graduation Day, a day when those whose lives had been hijacked by drugs and alcohol take back their stories and choose their futures. I'm John McGauley, and on this episode of In Session, we're talking with a few of the brave people who've been there, drug court graduates, about their journey from addiction to recovery.
All rise. Allen Superior Court is now in session.
What led me there, I was obviously caught up in the wrong situations, wrong people. I was in and out of hotels. I met a big drug dealer and kind of would spend so much time with him, and one day ended up taking some drugs, and did it by myself in a car after leaving him. About 15 minutes later, maybe, I ended up passing out. And they said I was there for about 2.5 hours, unconscious, dead. They did CPR on me. They Narcaned me twice. I woke up in the ambulance. Obviously, I think I got fentanyl. They charged me because I had more drugs in the car, and they offered me the program.
The day that she overdosed, she texted me and she said, "Mom, I don't feel good. I think I'm going to the emergency room." She was partier at that time. And I was like, "You're just hungover. You need to just come home and go home and take a nap or come here and lay down." She's like, "No, Mom, something's wrong. My tongue feels weird." She knew, even as a drug addict, that something was not right. I was texting her and she stopped texting me back, and it really scared me, and I didn't know where she was. I texted her twice and said, "Send me your location." She didn't. And then I got a call from someone that I didn't know on her phone. And he had found her face down in a gas station parking lot laying beside her car. He saw that, when you open an iPhone, you could see that there's missed calls from somebody, and it said Mom. It actually said Mommy on her phone. And he hit it, and it called me back. And so he's like, "You don't know me, but I've found your daughter laying in I'm on my way to the hospital. Where do you want me to go?" So he didn't even call the ambulance. He just took her. And thank God.
I had a pretty run-of-the-mill, say middle-class existence here in Fort Wayne. It was so much more than I ever expected. I really loved the city. Around COVID time, though, some things happened, some life events, life changes, and a lot of the things that I had trouble with internally, life coping skills and things like that, really came to the surface, and my inability to reckon with these things reared their ugly head in ways that I would have never imagined. I had a sibling who came to live with me for a little bit. He was in full-blown active addiction, and I was introduced to things that at the time I thought were quick fixes to help me cope with what I was going through. I wanted to soldier on and just live my life and succeed, but what I thought was a band-aid was really a shot in the foot. I on and off struggled with this addictive cycle for about 2 years until I found myself at the door, you could say, of drug court.
If it wasn't for drug court, I would have become a statistic. I would have been in Department of Corrections looking to face 2.5, 3 years. I don't want to be that. So I told myself that I'm going to do the right thing. And while being on drug court, I've had some dirty drops at the first start, and I willingly told on myself at every dirty drop I knew I was going to have, because you have to take your accountability. It's a must in drug court. After the last time I had my last dirty drop, I went to Park Center Rehab, and while sitting in Allen County Jail, the walls were talking to my mind and were telling me, and then God was telling me, it's time to do the right thing. I got tired of being sick and tired, so I took recovery by the horns, and I'm just rocking it.
I ended up choosing drug court over probation because I felt like I needed that change, and drug court was going to be that change for me. They were going to help me in ways I didn't even know they could. What clicked for me with drug court is I never did recovery before. I've been on drugs since I was starting at 13 years old. I guess the overdose did it for me. It clicked in my head that I needed to change something. Everything that drug court was offering me sounded like it was exactly what I needed.
When she would leave our home and go out with friends and do things, I had no idea how bad it had gotten. That time frame after the overdose, when I said to her, you cannot live in this home and do drugs, and she chose to leave, from that point forward, I thought she was going to die. My fear, when I didn't hear from her for 2 or 3 days, I would start panicking. And I would start calling friends, and I would start calling people that knew her, and I would start reaching out on Facebook. And then she would text me or call me, and then every once in a while I'd get a text that would just say, Mom. To this day, even with her sober, if she sends me a text that just says, Mom, my heart starts racing.
Drug court gives you the structure, and it gives you the backing that you need, and it gives you the accountability. Accountability is huge when you're trying to get sober. Getting a case manager to care about you. Taking the program over doing it by yourself is the best course of action. It is extremely hard at first. It's hard to feel like you can get everything accomplished, and it feels like there's no reward and there's no light at the end of the tunnel, but I promise that there is, and I promise that you will make the best version of yourself that you possibly can.
For my family to see me on drug court and see me like putting myself together, they are so proud of me. Like my dad tells me all the time how he's proud of me. My mom, my nana, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, and hearing them tell me how proud of me they are, it means so much to me. For them to be there to see me graduate, it was very emotional for me, because when I was battling homelessness and addiction, I felt like I didn't have a family. I felt like I didn't belong here. I couldn't always reach out for a place to stay or for a bite to eat or just to go take a shower or anything. I had to figure it out for myself. And after I got out of addiction and I started drug court, like the more I take my program serious, the more support that I have.
One cannot go about recovery alone. It always has to be tied to a community. There's an oft repeated phrase in the recovery community that I've heard over the past few years, that the opposite of addiction is connection. And it's true. And I think that addiction is such an issue in our contemporary society because a lot of individuals are more atomized. Everyone is their own entrepreneur. Everyone's kind of going it alone and on their phones and just the day-to-day life world of people. It's kind of disconnected from community. Recovery gives you an opportunity to connect with a greater community and really heal the ails of that atomized existence.
How I succeeded is actually changing everything in my life. Finding new friends, going to classes that I needed to, actually listening to people, because I never listened to people before. During my use, I would cut them all off. So after I got into drug court, opened up, knew that I needed that support and family back, because family's important. We got close again. It's one of the most important things to me in life. Drug court gave me a second chance at life.
I know that there's a lot of parents out there right now in that panic mode, living in trauma every day, waiting for the shoe to drop. A friend of mine gave me this prayer, and I said, Lord, don't let her fall any farther than she has to come back to you. 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up out of a dead sleep, and it was like God was speaking to me, and he said, you have to let her fall. That prayer means that you have to stop catching her. So let me take care of her. And I literally got on my knees and put my hands on the head of my bed and started bargaining with God. I'm doing this whole back and forth in my mind with God saying, just let her live. Please keep her alive. I'll do whatever you say, Lord, but please keep her alive. And then within a month, she got arrested. And that kept her alive. And that's what led to drug court. And that's what saved her life.
Here I am now, 16 months sober from fentanyl and marijuana and cocaine and any drug I could get my hands on. Being on drug court, it saved my life. I gained a handsome, happy, healthy baby. I got married. I have an amazing case manager who's very supportive of me, good and bad decisions I've ever done while on drug court. And then on top of that, when I did my relapse prevention plan, I sat right next to Frango. I wanted to cry. It was huge. It was nerve-wracking and huge. She asked me what makes me happy, and I told her, I love when she praises me and tells me I'm doing such an amazing job, keep up the good work. And at my next court hearing, like, I can walk out of a courtroom feeling confident and not feeling as if I'm scared that I'm gonna go to jail for using.
One would assume that standing in front of a judge, something would be motivated out of fear because, oh, it's court, oh, it's scared. But no, it's out of love. She cares so much. And every aspect of your recovery, she goes over with you during each court session. And it's a really good and comprehensive progress report for one's own self to see, okay, I'm doing this, and this. I need to do this. And it really helps you put into perspective what you need to do, what you're doing well, and what you're doing well, she will tell you. And she will tell you that she is proud of you. And that makes all the difference.
I didn't see any hope or any light, So just remember that there is light, there is a way out, and there is people that care about you. Not letting my family down or myself down, and knowing that what I came from and knowing that going back would be death is completely enough. Having my family have to bury me from an overdose is enough to make me never go back.
She graduated from drug court in March of 2024. When that day happened and I saw the look on her face, I was like, okay, I know my child and I know the look. She had this look of pride and self-love, and I was like, okay, my guard can come down. It doesn't mean that I don't worry about my adult child. If you have an adult child, you worry about them no matter if they've been in addiction or if they're a lawyer. You're a parent. So for me, I watch out for things like depression. When she's not coming around as often and pulling back into herself, I know something's going on. So I do the same thing for her that I would do for any of my friends. When I see a friend struggling in their life, I go over to their house and help clean, or I make a meal and take it over. I'm doing the same things for her that I would for a friend, but I'm her mom. I think the difference now is that she's accepting that. She didn't want me in her house before because she was hiding something. So now I have my own key. Now there's a trust there between her and I. So there's a peace that I have because the trust is there.
My brother, who had moved back to New Jersey to get clean, he relapsed in 2021, at which point I also became addicted. He had about 8 months clean time before he passed. I found out when I was at my recovery residence, and I was absolutely devastated because I thought he had it. But my brother was probably the coolest and the smartest person I'd ever known. You can see the echo of his existence still on this earth. And everything he went through, that inspires me today. And so much of my recovery I dedicate to him. He impacted me in such a profound way. You have to do recovery for yourself, but in that sense, I'm doing it for him too. I have to.
This has been In Session, an inside look at the Allen County, Indiana courts. If you or someone you care for are battling addictions, you can seek help at in.gov/FSSA/addiction. For more information on Allen Superior Court's drug court program, call 260-449-7134.